Hey everybody, it's John from the Hustle Daily Show. Before we get into the show today, did you know that HubSpot launched an AI chatbot that helps you build awesome campaigns at scale with just a few prompts? It's called Campaign Assistant, and it's a totally free-to-use AI tool made for marketers and business leaders who spend hours a day on content creation. Campaign Assistant will transform the way that you build marketing campaigns at scale. Craft personalized emails, ads, and landing pages in just a matter of minutes. Just pick the content type, add the key selling points, and let the AI take it from there. And the best part, it works seamlessly with all of HubSpot's marketing and sales tools to scale your output across email, social, and more. So AI your way into the most effective campaigns yet at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, November 9. I'm Juliet Bennett Rylah here with Ben Berkley, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're talking about GM's Cruise, which just recalled 950 of its robotaxis off the streets. We'll talk about that more in a moment, but first, we're going to catch up on everything else making headlines in the world of business and tech. Meta will start requiring advertisers to disclose the use of AI in any political Facebook or Instagram ads starting next year. The policy is meant to limit misleading content and deepfakes and comes a year ahead of the 2024 U.S. election. Samsung announced 3 AI tools, including a chatbot, a tool to help developers write code, and an image generator and editor. They will be available to the public in the future. How far in the future? We don't know, but look out for that, I guess. Amazon is going to offer $99 a year One Medical memberships to its Prime members. As you may know, the tech giant has been acquiring a bunch of healthcare companies. It got One Medical for about $3.9 billion in February of this year. Nike loves to sue other companies, and it is now suing 2 rival shoemakers accused of infringing on its patented Flyknit technology. That would be New Balance and Skechers. It has settled similar suits with Adidas and Puma. If you're Darren, our podcast editor who is British, it's Adidas, right? That's how they say it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, well that's for you, Darren.
It's cute. I want to hear that as often as possible.
Me too. I like it better, actually. And they also have an ongoing case with Lululemon, which I learned from Rob is not pronounced Lululemon, as I thought for many years. So
maybe overseas it is.
Yeah. Okay, Darren, let us know how you pronounce Lululemon. And finally, Rockstar Games confirmed a new installment in its mega hit Grand Theft Auto. A full decade after the last game, Grand Theft Auto 5, hit the market, we're going to get Grand Theft Auto 6, I presume. That game, Grand Theft Auto 5, tallied $800 million in sales over its first 24 hours. Ben, I have never played this game because I'm a big dork who likes to play Witcher and Baldur's Gate, but you have played Grand Theft Auto.
I have. I'll clarify, I haven't probably played it the way that you're supposed to play it, which is to say that like when you it gets really scary when the cops are chasing you. So I generally observe the speed limit and try to not create any sort of chaos. I just like to see this big open world and think it's really well rendered. I'm sure a new version with a decade of technology lapsed into this thing, it's going to be pretty cool. And also, like, no franchise animates the game buying public more than this one. So I feel like this is just like, whenever it comes out, I know they're going to roll out the trailer in December. Let's just assume this is already going to set the record as like top selling video game of all time. So something to look forward to there.
Yeah. So my understanding is that this game is about like, I don't know, doing crimes and running over the curb and being mean to people. But you like come to a full and complete stop and you use your turn signal and you just kind of cruise around fake LA.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's just like living in real LA, but like I'm spending less money on gas.
Okay, so it's still a type of wish fulfillment, I suppose.
Yeah, this is also, I mean, I'm also someone who played like the Red Dead Redemption games, also by Rockstar, where you just like do the same, but in the Old West. And like, if it's a choice between getting in a shootout with someone or just like riding my horse, I don't need that stress. I'm just going to ride my horse.
Okay, I can relate. I'm playing a bard in Baldur's Gate, and I have persuaded my way out of every fight to the point where I'm like, maybe I need to shoot some goblins because I need XP. I'm so weak.
This doesn't mean a lot to me, but I also really would like, it sounds like it would be much more up my alley than whatever, like running people over, which also happens to be a great segue into our main segment today, which is about cruise and robotaxis that aren't really doing so well right now.
It is not a good time to be General Motors. As you may know, Cruise is an autonomous taxi. So you get in the taxi, it's like an Uber, but there's no driver. Sounds extremely cool. The promise of self-driving taxis is that they would be affordable, reliable, safe for people in metro areas to get around. One might also argue that we could have just invested in train technology, as I say every time we discuss this, but we didn't. So we have this idea of these autonomous taxis, Cruise being one company on the scene. Now, Cruise and Waymo, that's Alphabet's self-driving situation, they both got permission to expand their services in San Francisco earlier this year, which, again, sounded like it was going to be really cool. They'd been doing some testing. I think Zach, who used to work with us more frequently than he does now at the Hustle, I think he said that he tested a Waymo car. Like he got to be a passenger in one. Sounded very cool, except then a bunch of stuff happened, a lot of it in August. So there was this big music festival in San Francisco. During that time, a bunch of Cruise cars were, I guess, according to Cruise, unable to, like the bandwidth of people using their cell phones, it was too much. It jammed up the Cruise cars and then they just stopped and they blocked traffic and you couldn't move them out of the way because they're very large. One was unable to apparently discern road from wet concrete and it got itself stuck like the never-ending story horse, apparently. And then California state regulators actually demanded it slash its fleet by 50%. There were 2 collisions. That was kind of the final nail in Cruise's coffin for the moment. The California Department of Motor Vehicles revoked Cruise's license for driverless rides, requiring a human be present. Cruise has gone through a lot of shit since then. It's brought in outside investigators, shuttered its operations nationwide, paused production of its autonomous van that it had going on, and recently admitted that layoffs were forthcoming. So that is where Cruise is at right about now.
Yikes is my very professional way of analyzing that. It's just one really big yikes. It's notable that this is just one company. And I think Waymo, for example, is continuing to operate. It's also, I believe, expanding what it's doing. It hasn't quite had the same safety record as far as we've seen yet. Is already going to be an uphill climb to gain the trust of the average passenger.
Right.
This is a really new and weird thing. I haven't been in one of these myself, but can imagine kind of being slightly uncomfortable at the first time. This feels like it's going to really set back that trust acquisition. Do you see any way that this is not going to set that all back?
No, I think it's going to really set it back. Yeah, so even in San Francisco, where we have the 2 companies, people in San Francisco are kind of, as far as I can tell, not really fans of either company. People are sabotaging the cars by putting orange safety cones on their hoods. San Francisco officials asked the state to reconsider the permits. There were apparently 261 incidents that had involved a Cruise vehicle at that time in September, and 85 involving Waymo. So obviously Waymo's doing a lot better. None of these incidents were fatal, and they're not all huge incidents where one of them crashes into something. It might just be like it blocked the street or something like that. But there are still incidents, and I feel like anytime you have a new piece of technology that does anything wrong, people are very quick to be like, well, no, I don't want that. I want to stick to the old thing. I think we all remember how much people hated bird scooters when they first came out. People still hate bird scooters because, yeah, sure, they're useful, but you find one that's blocking traffic. I was actually on a subway train in LA, and someone threw a scooter in front of it and its lithium battery exploded. You have one incident like that and you're like, oh my God, no, it's not safe. My mom thought I was going to get murdered the first time I told her about Uber. So I think there's a lot of slowness to buy into these new technologies. And when you have incidents like this, and it feels like the tech company is maybe cutting corners or maybe not moving as slowly as it should be, it is really hard to get the public to trust you.
Yeah, I think this is I guess the way you're putting it, is like how I translate it is like this technology is just like, it's in puberty right now. Like it's just so awkward and it has no idea, like, is this going to turn into a lovely adult, or is this just going to be like bad puberty turns into a monster and we can never love this thing because it's just a disaster? It feels like we're waiting to see. And it also feels like something where this is almost maybe not set up to succeed in the way that, like, I imagine if the road were entirely driverless cars, they would be incredibly safe because they would be able to kind of like know each other's behavior. But then you add in this very human element of pedestrians who have unpredictable behavior, other drivers who have unpredictable behaviors, emergency vehicles are not easy to project.
Wet concrete, who saw that coming?
Yeah, exactly. Like
Not the car.
It's hard to program in, obviously, the entire range of the human experience for these things. We're seeing that right now. It does make you wonder, like, if we were all like, sure, let's try it for a year, all driverless cars, I think we'd be really happy and we'd see a huge decrease in traffic accidents and all of that. And that's like the theory that they keep kind of pushing of like, this is going to be safer. In reality, we're not there yet. And maybe we'll get there, maybe we won't. Cruise is going to have to get through some stuff to prove their worth. And, you know, we'll see if Waymo can stay on the road as well. But it's a weird space.
Yeah. And, you know, I thought we would have flying cars by now, and this is all we've got. It's kind of sad. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for tuning in to the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Ezra Trupiano, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you are not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email. We are taking Friday off for Veterans Day, so we will catch you next week.
Let me tell you about a show that I've been loving lately. It's called Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's hosted by the incredible John Lee Dumas. It's available now on the HubSpot Podcast Network. Entrepreneurs on Fire stokes inspiration and shares strategies to fire up your entrepreneurial journey and create the life that you've always dreamed of. I'm a big fan of this podcast. It has energy, it has value, and it's all about learning about entrepreneurship. I was just listening to an episode the other day. JLD interviewed Jay Rogers, who was such a wealth of information. He kind of went into how entrepreneurship chooses you. You don't necessarily choose it, and that failure only happens when you stop trying to win. A lot of gems in this one, so I highly recommend checking out that particular episode along with the rest. So go listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late, since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.